share with you my testimony, and I'd like to start with my childhood. I grew up in a very loving, Christian, Christ-centered home. There is not a time that I don't remember going to church. We were brought to church very, very young as babies, and we remained there consistently through my entire life. When I was going to be a freshman in high school, my friends had invited me to come to an event at their youth group, which was here at Lighthouse. And I came and I had a lot of fun. And then their youth pastor asked if I would come to church the next day. So I stayed the night with my friends. And the next day I came, and it was very different from what I had experienced growing up. I definitely felt like there was a different focus, a different atmosphere, and I felt immediately very welcomed and very loved by Eric and Ashley, who are our youth leaders growing up in high school. And I soon had my whole family coming, and we have been here ever since then. I went to camp that first summer that I came to Lighthouse, and I knew pretty quickly that something was missing in my life and something was missing in my heart. But I knew that I also had made a profession of faith when I was younger, and so I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But I rededicated my life to the Lord, and I went about the rest of my teen years very lost and very broken, and always searching for something that would bring me life full of joy and bring me happiness. And I got a taste of what a world without Jesus was like, and it was awful. And so I started to be more serious about church and about Christ. And when I was 18 years old, I married my husband Alex, and I remember life feeling finally settled down at that point. I never felt like I was, on that mission to find something full of joy or something, that would bring me happiness. And we started our family, and I grew to be very angry and bitter and just unhappy in general. I felt very selfish a lot of the times, like I needed to be catered to, and like my life was not fair in a lot of ways, but I was very blessed in life. I had a really great family and a really great husband and really great children, and I never felt like I was full. I always felt empty, and I always felt like I had a lot of negativity surrounding me. It was about 3 years ago. I remember sitting in service one day. I believe it was a friend day, or it was a big event day, and something very unsettling came inside me. It was a feeling of, it was like I had never felt before, and I sat on it for a minute and realized, I think I am not saved. And listening to him speak, it was like hearing the gospel for the first time, even though I'd heard it my entire life, and I could quote you the gospel. And it was like the words were just beaming right at me, and I couldn't stand to hear it. I got up and I left, and I shoved those feelings aside for the next 2 years. And finally, we had Kent York come one evening like he usually does for revival. And he began to talk about his wife, Julie, and how she was an adult, she was married, and she worked here, not here, but she worked in a church. And she realized one day that she didn't think she was saved. And she took care of that. But he said something that I want to read to you that really, really stuck out to me that night. And he said, there are people who are going to miss heaven because they have all of the knowledge of the gospel in their head, but have never accepted it in their heart. And looking back on my life, I had made a profession, but I never felt whole with Christ. I never felt like he was there in my heart, and I knew for sure that that was missing in my life. And so that night, I asked the Lord to forgive me and to save me, and it was a great night for me, but it was also a really hard night for me. And I want to read you what I had wrote during that time, so that maybe someone can resonate with my feelings and they can realize that my story is something that may be able to help them. I said, for a long time, I wondered what people would think of me if I ever got up the nerve to tell someone that I was deeply doubting my salvation. I know I can't be the only one who feels this way, and maybe you are thinking that right now. If that is you, I hope you'll believe me when I say that those fears I had seem so small now in comparison to the joy, the peace, and the assurance that I missed out on for so long. Satan is a master of deception, and he will tell you every lie that he can to stop you from trusting in Jesus. Don't allow him to hold that space in your head. And I still feel that way over a year later, that those fears seem like nothing now to me. I feel so much more peaceful in my life. I don't have those doubts about my salvation anymore. I know that I have a true, real relationship with Jesus now. And I wanted to end with this verse. Philippians 4:7 says, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts, minds, through Christ Jesus. And then I also said, God will never be the source of your peace if the world is the source of your satisfaction. And that quote at the end is a very, it was a good picture of what my life was like before actually surrendering my life to Christ. I looked for so much satisfaction in the world and expected to still have the peace of God, when in reality the peace of God was never there, and I was looking for satisfaction in the wrong places because of that.